The anti-fascist movement has a proud history of standing up to the intolerance and bigotry of the far right. The time has now come that we make our voices heard in the fight against Islamist extremists, like al-Mujahirun at home and the Islamic State abroad. IS's fanatics have swept through vast areas of Iraq and Syria like a sandstorm, butchering, raping and murdering their way across the region. Like all fascistic groups, they murder and persecute people not for what they have done, but because of who they are. Ethnic religious minorities, women and LGBT people have all faced merciless persecution at the hands of Islamic State. Despite the numerous protestations by sympathetic British Islamists, the evidence of crimes against humanity perpetrated by the Islamic State is shocking and ever increasing. They are destroying an ever increasing number of religious holy sites, Yazidi temples, Christian churches and even mosques. It seems that destroying people is not enough. Unsurprisingly, millions of people have had no option but to flee their homes, often in little more than the clothes they had on at the time. In Iraq, over 5.2 million people have been affected. Over 1.9 million have been displaced. In Syria, 9 million people have been displaced since the outbreak of the civil war in 2011.
The first refugees that we had are what we call economic refugees, so people leaving their house because the economy in Syria is shattering and they want to have better opportunities, and Iraqi Kurdistan is more stable, the salaries are better here. And then the recent refugees that we had are more refugees displaced by war, directly where there was a conflict. Kobani, we know what's happening with that city. So,
however, the men, women and children who have taken refuge under these tarpaulins and tents are not hiding, they are living. Many of the camps have vibrant shopping streets, while the tents have often been extended with second and sometimes even third rooms. In a matter of months, these people have managed to turn mere tents into new homes. While most camps are of a remarkably high standard, some people find themselves in much harder situations. Here lives a community of 1,200 Yazidis who fled from Sinjar, seemingly abandoned to fend for themselves by the odd delivery of water. Unhygienic toilets, threadbare mattresses lay on open gravel and mud, just one food delivery in 3 months. Yet even here life continues. Women bake bread in improvised ovens and children play football against a backdrop of superlative rugged beauty. It seems that despite the best efforts of the Islamic State, these people, forced into unimaginable situations, are refusing to give up. Anjem Chowdhury, leader of the British-based Islamist network al-Mujahirun, is the most high-profile and vocal supporter of Islamic State in Western Europe. Dozens of his supporters have gone to Iraq and Syria to join IS militants in their battle to build a new caliphate.
Domestically, I believe there's tranquility. The basic needs of all the citizens are being met. Not only food, clothing and shelter, but even utilities like gas, electricity and water. These people are living very peaceful and wholesome lives. Well, I mean, it's simply not true. None of it is true. Now, obviously, there are many people there who have committed crimes. They will be caught and obviously they will be subject to capital punishment. They will be killed, or they will be crucified, or their hand and leg will be chopped in opposite directions. So that is the punishment. People who are taken in war, if they come out, then they will be, they'll be kept by the Islamic State, they will be distributed. I think every Muslim, including myself, would love to live under the Sharia. And as far as I'm aware, what is happening in the area of Syria and Iraq is the Sharia is being implemented. That the only place really to bring up our children properly according to Islam and to protect them from all of the vices within society is in a society where the Sharia is implemented. So I'd love to go to this area, not to engage in terrorism, but to see what life is like actually under the Sharia. The thing that we've been working for the last 20 years, to see what it's actually like.
Despite murdering thousands and forcing millions more to flee in terror, Anjem Chowdhury and his supporters continue to both defend and promote the Islamic State. Chowdhury is their #1 ambassador at large, appearing on TV shows all over the world, denying atrocities and singing the praises of this murderous regime. Despite this, it's important to remember that the vast majority of British Muslims despise everything the Islamic State stand for.
I think British Muslims, just like anybody else in Britain, are perplexed, confused, angered by who these people actually are. We're just as concerned and worried about this group as anybody else is. This is about intolerance, it's about extremism, it's about people who hate other people who hate people who are Muslims, but people who hate people who are Christians, people who hate people who are Jews, people who hate people who are homosexual. That's what they're about.
Anti-fascists should be at the vanguard of the battle against Islamic extremism, shaping the fight in the interest of tolerance, equality and human rights. If we do not make this an anti-fascist issue, we will be conceding the battleground to those who seek to use it for the promotion of intolerance, bigotry, racism and opposition to democratic rights. It's time for the anti-fascist movement to wake up and unite in condemning and combating this evil.